So let's talk about a question where you're asked by the interviewer, what is your greatest weakness? And this question can actually make you fail because some of us are actually going to be too honest and say our greatest weakness and start saying, me, I'm not a patient person. And by the way, if someone comes to me on a bad day, me, I can just slap them. Or you saying, I can't work with a team. I just like to work by myself. Guys, so let's go through this so that we avoid these mistakes that can make us miss an opportunity. Sawa sawa. So you go to an interview and they ask you, tell us about yourself, or rather, tell me about yourself. Now, sorry, they ask you, what is your biggest weakness? All right. So how do you go about answering this? So number one, I'm going to give you three mistakes that you should never say in an interview. And then we can go through the ones that you can use in an interview and how to answer. All right? Sawa sawa. So number one, why is the employer asking you that question? They need to know if you are a self-aware person. Guys, if you know yourself, there's something called self-awareness. If you understand yourself, then it's very easy to work on that. If you know you're not a patient person, you know what triggers you, then it's very easy to manage that. But if you don't know, then it becomes a problem. So number one, the interviewer wants to know if you actually know yourself. Number two, they actually want to know if you're an honest person. Because some of you go and say, or rather some of us go and say, I don't have a weakness, I'm a perfectionist. You're not a perfectionist. No one is a perfectionist. All of us have weaknesses. So again, they want to understand, is this person honest enough? Because if you're not honest, it means that ukipatiwa kazi utakuwa unadanganya. All right? Sawa. And then they also want to know if you plan to improve on your weaknesses. Like I say, let's say I'm not a very patient person, but I understand that Sally is not a very patient person. So I know my triggers. So I know if someone comes in certain way, I know how to avoid that so that I don't go out nikigombana now, because I already understand myself. All right. So they all want to know, how do you plan? How do you plan to improve that? Because everyone has a weakness. So how do you plan to improve your weaknesses? All right. So tip number one, again, never say you're a perfectionist. That one we have already said. Number two, give an honest weakness. These are the tips as to why you need to as to how you need to go about this. Give an honest, because again, guys, you can give an honest weakness that will work for you. And we are going to see some of the weaknesses that you're going to use. Avoid that, please. Just ignore the Papa thing. Okay, tawa. So now let's look at the three mistakes you cannot avoid. You should avoid. Number one, you cannot say that I cannot work with a team. I like to work alone. Every company would want you to work with a team. You cannot work alone. So the fact that you're telling an interviewer that you cannot work, you cannot work with a team, already you are really doing yourself a disjustice, right? The other thing you cannot say is, I'm not good at time. You need to finish projects on time. You need to go for meetings on time. You need to arrive at work on time. So the moment you start saying, I'm not very good at timekeeping, already that's a very bad weakness. Don't say that, right? And then the other thing is, you say, I can only focus on one task. I cannot manage multiple tasks. What if there's that time in the year where there's a lot of pressure and everyone is being given, even the jobs that are not theirs, you're being given multiple projects? Does it mean you'll quit your job? Because now you cannot handle multiple projects now. So those are the three things that you should not say, or rather you should not tell an interviewer. Guys, I'm so sorry, maybe it's disturbing me, and we have to move on regardless. Sawa. Now, what are some of the greatest weaknesses to use? Number one, you can say, I am one person who does not like to let go of projects, which means when you're given a project, you're so passionate about that project and you just want to put in the work and put in the effort. And sometimes it might not be very good because it takes too much time, and because you need to submit that project, so you do another project. So sometimes you say, I'm one person who's very passionate about my work, and so when I'm given a project, I really like to take my time, and sometimes that is not very good for the organization, because we might have a lot of projects, and so I need to finish this and then I start another one immediately. So and I'm working towards that. So you say, however, I am working towards that so that I'm able to beat deadlines and just do the correct thing. The other thing that you can say is, I find it difficult to give feedback, which means sometimes you're asked, give a feedback, and this person, maybe their work is not very good, or and so because you do not want to hurt them, you find it very difficult to actually give an honest feedback. So you just, let's say you're more of a nice person, and sometimes being too nice doesn't really help, because if I'm doing something wrong, then I need you to tell me, Sally, you actually do something wrong. Because if you don't tell me the honest thing, if you don't give me your honest opinion, then it simply means I will not improve. All right. So you need to give honest feedback. So you can say that, I could be having a problem with giving out feedbacks. However, I'm working on that. And so, to be very honest and to be very straightforward and telling someone that, you need to improve in these areas. Sawa sawa. So that's another weakness that you can use. The other thing you can say is, you're a workaholic. Sometimes you overwork, you tend to overwork, and you forget the fact that you need to rest, because as a human being, you need to rest. All right. However, I am working towards that so that I also give myself some time to rest, because it's important for my health. Those are things that they're good. Okay, they are problems, but to some extent, they're also good problems. So you understand? So they're good weaknesses that you can use on an interview, and they're bad weaknesses that you can use in an interview. So I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next video. And by the way, guys, make sure you're following, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're saving for later, and ask more questions, ask more interview questions that you have. Any questions that you find it maybe difficult, or you've gone for an interview once and that question really changanyad you, just put it there. We can discuss as a family, and let's learn together, so that by the time you're going for these interviews, we are pros. We are what? We are pros. And finally, we are going to have our chat moderation class from next week on Wednesday. You can register if you wish to become a chat moderator. And I also have an in-book on how to become from a newbie to a pro, or basically how to transition and work from home within 3 months, within 90 days. If you are interested, I have a link on my bio. Just click that link. Make sure you're following me. Click the link on the bio. You'll see the first link written, get this ebook. You can go there and download and read and learn. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.